Thanks for staying with us on this edition of Vision. Cedric Varner. Our guest today in the studio is Kris Stallworth with State Farm Insurance, and so we're excited to bring this segment to you by Kris Stallworth. And so, Mr. Stallworth, we haven't had a chance to talk to you in a while. We want to say welcome back to the program.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
Excited. We're always excited to get a chance to learn from you. You bring us these insurance and financial matters information, and I want to say congratulations to you on all your success. You've just been really taking care of business, and I was looking at your website, and one of the things on your information about you and State Farm Insurance is that your mission is to help manage the risks of everyday life, recover from the unexpected, and to help people to realize their dreams.
Yes, sir. That's what State Farm has been. That's their foundation. And, you know, we want to make sure that when we deliver on the promise. So when someone comes to us or comes to me and we take care of their needs as far as insurance, we want to make sure if a claim happens that we take care of them and we deliver on that promise, and that's what they expect from us. Good,
good. Well, I'll tell you what, that is a great mission, and we're very, very excited and to know that. And you know, we're going to go into this a little bit later, but since we're talking about recover from the unexpected, you posted something on your Facebook page a couple of days ago about one of your clients, and they just had a catastrophic incident.
Yes, sir. You know, they had a fire, total loss, including the cars that was in the garage. And, you know, we don't think that something like that will happen until it happens. And at that point, you know, you're trying to figure out, what do I do next? So I got the phone call. You know, I took care of it. I made sure that they didn't spend one night without somewhere to stay. State Farm takes care of that. And then personally, what their policy allows us to do also is I was able to write them a check, and for them to be able to buy food, water, clothes, those type things, whatever they're needing, because again, they lost everything.
Wow.
And it was a family of 4 with 2 kids.
Wow. Yeah, and so you're able to go like shortly after the phone call and look at this, assess the situation. And so State Farm is a unique agency in that it allows you to just go on the spot and write the check.
Yeah, it is, and we call it agent's draft authority. So in situations like this, in that particular situation, I'm able to write the check and I can hand deliver it. So, and that's the great part of having a personal agent, that you got boots on the ground. Because, you know, in another situation, if you have a company that's, you know, you're generally dealing with them on the phone, you're not going to have that type of response, not that fast. So I pride myself, State Farm prides themselves on being able to, as that mission states, help them manage and recover from the unexpected, and that's what we do.
Yeah, that's really good. Well, you know, and that leads us into, you know, one of our topics for today, which is homeowners insurance and the importance of it. And that this really just kind of highlights the importance of having homeowners insurance. And one of the things that you wanted to mention today is replacement cost value versus market value.
Absolutely. So when you're in a situation, you're purchasing a home, and your lender or your real estate agent says that, hey, you need $150,000 in coverage for this home. Generally, where they get that number from is based on how much money you're borrowing. So the lender, they only care about what they have invested, what they've given you, which is the $150,000. But let's say that's based on the market value, what that house is selling for. It may take more than that to rebuild it. So when you come to your insurance company or you come to me, I'm looking at what it takes to rebuild that home, and I may say, hey, well, it's going to take $200,000 to rebuild this home. This is what you need to have in coverage. So a lot of times people get confused as to, well, why is my lender saying one thing and my insurance agent is saying another? What goes into that is where the house is located, what it's selling for, what other houses around there are selling for. And it could be a situation where it's flipped, where the house may be $200,000, but I'm telling you only need $150,000. I had that situation. Let's say if that house is on the water somewhere, there's a lake around it, so the value of that house is a lot more than what it actually takes to rebuild it, because again, you're paying for that lake, for example, you're paying the price of that high priced land. So those are things that you have to realize when purchasing insurance.
And so the difference in replacement cost value versus market value, is that normally a big number of a larger number that you got to pay?
Generally not. It just depends on what you're paying for the house. Because sometimes if you're putting a big down payment on the house, then again, the lender is only going to require what they're actually loaning you. Or it depends on where that house, again, the value of that house or that surrounding area when you purchase. So it could be small, it could be big. It just depends on several factors.
Okay, all right, real good. Well, one of the other things that you wanted to talk about is loss of use coverage.
Yes. So what loss of use coverage is, back on the claim or the fire claim with my client, is that they don't have any place to stay once this fire takes place. The house is gone. So our policy has loss of use protection where we as an insurance company provide them a place to stay, meaning we'll get them and book them a hotel short term, and then based on this situation, we'll probably be putting them in an apartment or maybe rent them a house until the claim gets done and the house gets rebuilt. One important factor, other companies have this feature, but you want to look at the time period as well. Some cases they may only cover you for a year. State Farm covers you for up to 2 years in this particular loss of use coverage. And why is that important? That's important because if it takes longer to rebuild your house, let's say if it's a big house or there's storm damage, let's say there's a catastrophe, then it's going to take longer for those things to get rebuilt. So you want to make sure you have enough time and you're not having to worry about, okay, what am I going to do when my time period or my money runs out? So we cover people for 2 years, and I don't have a situation where that wasn't enough.
That's good. That's good. And so when these catastrophic events happen, people are happy then that they have gotten enough insurance.
Absolutely, they're very happy. And just to, going back on that agent's drive authority, us being able to write a check, having an agent friend who, when Hurricane Katrina, this was years ago, but when people were coming this way, she was able to write checks for people who were from New Orleans. So they were with State Farm in New Orleans, but because we're State Farm, we were able to write them a check. She was able to write them a check right here in Montgomery and still take care of those needs for them, even though they're from Louisiana. Wow,
wow. And so and that's the importance of having a national, international company with that kind of size and scale.
Yes, sir, because we can take care of those type of situations. So there's over 18,000 State Farm agents in the U.S., so we'll be able to take care of you.
And so this is another reason, because of this kind of scale, that people should come and see you and come by and call Kris Stallworth.
Absolutely, absolutely. Right. Absolutely, I want to talk to him.
All right, all right. Well, when we talk about life insurance and you want to make sure that your dreams and your goals live on, even if you don't.
Yes, sir. So we all have dreams and goals, and one of the things that I talk about a lot is that when we get in our cars, we don't think about this, but when we get in our cars and drive off, our hopes and dreams are strapped to the hood of that car. If we get in an accident and unfortunately a person passes away, then we want to make sure, and you want to make sure that the goals and the dreams you have for your family don't die with you. So that's why it's important to have life insurance in place.
That's good. That's good. That's good. So that there's continuity and that the vision can live on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, whole life versus term life, much discussed topics.
Yes, I get the question all the time. So, the way that I explain it, whole life is centered around something that is permanent, something that lasts forever, something that you don't have to worry about running out, and something where the price stays the same. Term life may be a little bit less expensive up front, but over time that term will go up in price, and at some point it will expire. So you have to make sure that if you want something in place that no matter when you die, whether it's at 25 or 105, then whole life is the vehicle you need to be in. But if you're looking at things for temporary needs, say if you got a kid in college or going to college, you want to make sure if something happens, then the coverage is in place. then those things like that can be covered in term, because at some point you hope the kid is done with school. Or if you're covering a mortgage, you know, that may be something you can cover in term, pay less money for it, because you know at some point the house will be paid off.
So you can actually age out of term life? You
can. So you definitely want to look at your policy and make sure you know what you have. I always do free reviews for clients if they want to bring in a policy, maybe with a different company, so you know what's going on in that policy before it's too late.
Now, when we talk about life insurance, and we switch subjects, you're talking about life insurance that your bank offers. What do you want to say about that, the life insurance that your bank offers?
So I get this question sometimes that, hey, or they may say, I have life insurance through my bank. The one thing that you need to pay attention of is that, is this coverage, is it a full life insurance policy where it covers you for any type of death? Or is it just accidental death and dismemberment that it's covering you for? So, because I get them in the mail, you probably got them in the mail, where they're offering you life insurance that may say $250,000 and you're only paying $8 a month, for example. Generally, that's probably accidental death. So you want to make sure that you have something that's going to cover you regardless of how you pass away, and not just for an accident.
Okay. All right. Now, why is having life insurance through your job risky?
It can be risky for a few reasons. One is life insurance through your job you do not own. Your job owns it. So it's not risky in that you shouldn't have it, but it shouldn't be your only policy. You should have something outside of work, because if you change jobs, get laid off, then that life insurance generally stops. You can't take it with you. So if you're in an event where you retire, change jobs, get laid off, let's say if your health is not as good as it once was, you may not be able to qualify for life insurance out on the open market. So you definitely want to have something in place outside of work. Not to say you don't want to have it at work, because it's cheap to have it through work. Take that, but have something else also. Excellent.
Well, we got about 1 minute left. One of the things that you do is an analysis. You let people come and bring their policies to you, so that you can go through it and let them know what's good and what they need to do and what they may need to do to improve.
Yes, sir. I love to do that. I love to educate people on what their policies can and can't do, and it's free. It's not something that I charge you for, and if you're getting a great deal, I'm going to tell you you're getting a great deal, but I love to look at those policies and educate people.
Excellent. Mr. Stallworth, thanks for coming to be with us
again.
Sir. We're excited. Always like the information and the education. We're going to invite you back so we can keep this going. And that's going to do it for us on this edition of Visions. Please see Kris Stallworth, State Farm Insurance. That's going to do it. And we'll see you next time.